Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my Week 10 preview of CFL action. I'm sorry I missed a game again. My goodness, I'm just so busy with everything going on. So the game that I missed would be the Ottawa versus Toronto. I mean, just my little 2 cents I'll give on it, on what I thought going into it, because I'll do the whole game in my review. But I thought that Toronto would win this game by a decent amount. But I will think it'll be interesting, and I'll discuss that later on how it will affect, because both of these teams actually have 2 games this week, which is a lot. So I'll get into that later. But anyways, our next game is Edmonton versus Winnipeg. All right, so Edmonton versus Winnipeg again. So a few concerns I have. So first off, the Kenny Lawler is out. If you didn't hear about the drunk driving incident thing, I don't think it was the CFL. I think it was the actual Bombers that decided to suspend him 1 game, which good. That there's nothing wrong with that. I think the way that the Bombers are handling this is quite well. One thing I am concerned about for everyone that does play is I don't want us to play down to the Elks level like we did last time, because. And I don't mean this as an insult to Edmonton, but they're just not on the same level as the Bombers are right now, with the Bombers being top of the league and everything. Yeah, I really hope that doesn't happen. I really hope our offense and our O-line and D-line really play the way they did last game, because if they're able to keep that up, this is going to be a scary team going into playoffs, and we really have a serious chance of doing something if we're able to keep that up, because that's such a huge part of the game that people don't talk about as much. I feel like people just don't realize it as much, how important the O-line and D-line is. But yeah, I think the Bombers will win this. I hope that they'll play better when it comes to not playing down to their level, and I hope we win by 2 touchdowns, honestly, at least. But yeah, that'll bring us to our next game, which is Calgary versus Saskatchewan. All right, so I don't think Saskatchewan's going to lose 2 games straight. And I know what people will immediately say to that. They'll be like, well, played the Bombers 2 straight and they didn't get any better, which is that's a fair thing to go by if that's what you're thinking. But in the way that Saskatchewan lost that game, I don't see them doing it. I see Calgary putting up a tough fight, and I expect this to be a very close game, to the point where I think Saskatchewan will win, but just barely. But, yeah, I'm interested to see how this goes for Fajardo, because I remember obviously the last time that he lost a big game, he didn't play much better than the next one. So I wonder how he takes this. I think he'll take it better because they actually did generate offense and whatnot. It's not like Labor Day where... the Bombers held them to nothing when it came in touchdowns, but the Roughriders didn't quite do that. So I expect that Fajardo will kind of pick up the pieces and keep going with that. So I think Saskatchewan will win this game, but it will be really close, and it will be barely. I'm talking 3 points or less. So that'll bring us to our next game, which is Ottawa versus Montreal. Ottawa's going to get killed. I'm just saying it now. Second game of the week against Montreal. I don't see Ottawa doing anything in this game. It is really tough for football teams having a second game in that week. I know from when I played that it made a big difference. It just you take the whole week to get prepared for the game, because you're going to war, but having something interrupt that in the middle and having the second game in a short span of time can really screw with your head mentally, and I think it's going to screw with Ottawa, and I think Montreal's going to take full advantage of that. I think Montreal is going to win this game very handily. I don't think it will be close. I will think it will be by minimum 2 touchdown difference, minimum. But that will bring us into our last game, which is Toronto versus Hamilton. All right, so second game for Toronto as well. Because of that, I can't say that I think Toronto's winning. I don't think they are. I think Hamilton wins this. But I think with this being the second game back, I believe, for Masoli and Banks, I think they'll definitely get into a better rhythm, and I think that really is going to make all the difference. And I think Hamilton will win by a decent amount, but I don't think they'll win by anything spectacular. Like the way that I think Montreal is going to beat Ottawa. I think it'll be a touchdown, maybe 5-6 points. It'll be, yeah. So more than a field goal, than equal to or less than a touchdown. But I'm just trying to think here. I don't see Toronto being able to fully manage that 2-game-in-a-week system. I don't like it. I don't. It's kind of a shitty thing for football teams, but it is what it is. But yeah, that'll be all. So make sure you guys stay tuned for my Bomber game reaction coming out later today, as I'll be at the game, obviously, as it's a home game. And stay tuned for my Week 10 reviews, so that way you could see my thoughts on all these games after they happen. So I'll see you guys next time.